Yo, it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, also known as OLP. This is issue 63 of Mini Truckin magazine, shot by Wes Allison, Tim Parker's amazing Isuzu. It's going to basically come back in just about 2.5 years. It'll grace the cover again. And this is the third and final cover truck with American Eagle wheels. Jam-packed issue. Of course, this is really an amazing cover truck that doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. We talked about the logo changing recently. It looks perfect with the slight changes against that background. You got an awesome model and a truck that's just really kick-ass, right? Special edition 50 readers ride, so that's important, right, to help grow the magazine during that time. And show-stopping minis of SEMA. Pretty cool stuff there. See the Geo tracker. Let's jump right in and see what we got. Okay, so I remembered this ad's also strange, but I distinctively remember that hat. So you got the convertible and you got the dude in the underwear and some weird advertising, but it is what it is. That's all I'll say about that. So you got the table of contents with the killer Astro. I remember seeing this in show coverage. Show-stopping minis of SEMA. Of course, the Astros and the Safaris, they all fell into the mini truck category, which I think is awesome. You see there, the cover truck was referred to as Asphalt Surfer. Check out the smooth lines of this I-Zu-Zu Pup from NorCal. And pretty cool stuff there. All right, so here you got on the cover, Tim Parker's Asphalt Surfer, 93. Jennifer Pennington is the model. And of course, you see Wes Allison gets the cover credit. Wes is the man. Colorado custom ad on the right. Here you got the editorial by the editor, of course. And like I said, I always liked when they put some insert shots in here, polishing those wheels, getting them trophies. Just for looks, super clean. These wheels, were they Antera? Man, they go well with this truck. Blazer. And super clean, man. Ground bound. This was the same club that had the Epic S10 with the chrome axle. I always called it ground pound, but ground bound. Super clean. Those guys built some cool stuff. Here you got Mini Market, and you can see here billets. Looks like Weld, right? Yeah, Weld Racing. It's fun to go back and look at this stuff. I was looking at some retro car audio the other day, a chrome amp. I don't know that this one's chrome, but that's what it reminded me of. Looking at some old Soundstream stuff, that was what I had in my S10 at the beginning. It's funny, it's actually what I have in the S10 now, but the company has no doubt changed hands over the course of time. Here you see Costly Obsession and the long bed dime, which is the one I think that we saw at Mini Nats that's still around. That's got graphics, I think. There were a couple of them. I want to say one on the East Coast that was blue. I think it's Epic. This Geo, I remember on the old NC Texas website. I used to go on all of I had them all saved, all the different truck clubs and chapters and Aftermath Florida, everyone. And the Texas NC guys always went hard in the paint, and they had a cool lineup. Even that, I'm pretty sure this is the one. It was like a pink primer, and then you see the Nissan next to it. Shout out to NC. Here is Green Day, super clean Toyota. It's got the topper, rag top. Killer stereo. Loving it. Something basic. when I say basic, maybe for now it seems basic, but back then, man, it was the shit, and I still think it's the shit. Check out. Here's the cover truck. And I'm guessing, like I've said before, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and say, Lance did the photography for the show. He may have seen it and said, hey, boom, got Wes on the phone and said, hey, can you shoot it? The guy lives over such and such, however that worked. But you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and say it probably was shot right around this show. And then, that's just the way it worked. Those magazine editors, just like today, they have to constantly be looking out. It's a little different today because on social media, you see what's coming. You see, not always, but oftentimes you either see a build through the process, or you catch wind. Someone shares that, hey, Slamboree's coming up. I'm going to be debuting such and such. And just the way it goes. We saw that in the table of contents. Nitrous oxide systems. Okay, so episode 300 is coming up. The guest that I wanted to have on 300, I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a fun episode. So please check it out on Friday. This is the start of riding around with the 50 trucks. Look at that thing. Clean. With the 50 trucks or so. Comment if you know any of these guys. This Will Opie Conklin, Louisville, Kentucky. I think he was the one that was in the local club here in Tampa that had the tag Opie Who. I think he looked like Opie. I never knew him. But yeah. Just going from names, a couple names jump off the page. Sick, clean S10. And that's the awesome thing. I know I keep saying it, but you can do old school, you can do new school now. But even just having something that's clean, static dropped, and for lack of better words, I'll use the word that Travis Nowak always uses, bitchin'. It's bitchin'. There's so much you can do. And that even goes for the OBS trucks. I'm going to be talking to a buddy. He actually just called me a minute ago, or texted me. And can't really share the details yet. Maybe on Friday's episode we'll have... Well, if all goes well, we will have that audio on Friday. Let me say that. Epic road trip going down right now, picking up a vehicle. This layout is one of my favorites. I wish I could get this on a poster without tearing up this issue. The colors, the yellow for Asphalt, the Surfer, the background. I mean, Wes Allison is the man when you look at these features. And I still think, like, when you look at, Tim's truck, this is Tim Parker's truck, it goes on to grace the cover again, 2.5 years later. But you see just how subtle this thing is. I mean, the wheels... Nothing crazy, but, Tim was a master, as far as I know, at metal fab, right? So I like, it's totally different, but that front bumper is sick. You can see the bumper is molded into the shaved fenders. Okay. Now, I did pull this up right before I started, and that's what it looked like before. So sporttruck.com has under features, you can go under here. They've got the Cal Concepts open house, but this is Tim Parker Street Boutique. So a lot of times I'll refer to this as the Street Boutique Isuzu, and I think some people are like, what the hell is that? That was the name of the shop. Not too long, but you can see there what I'm talking about. Now, I meant to grab this before we started. Let me see it. And actually, I happened to have this here recently because I had pulled this issue out to make a post. And if you look at this issue, which was October 98, that same time period, you see the Street Boutique logo there. So, epic truck, and that's maybe where you've seen that logo before. Rest in peace, Eric Coleman. I think I actually, now I recall, I was trying to think, I pulled that issue out the other day because it was his born day, heavenly born day. Again, always love those kind of photos. That little, click off of the camera reminds me of the old BMX and skateboard magazines, because they would do that to show you the ollie or the kickflip or whatever trick was being done. Here you can see some nice little tricks. You got the boot done in tweed as well. An old friend of mine had 2 Isuzus in their family, and man, I spent a lot of time either riding in one, tinkering with one. I can't say I'm an expert when it comes to those trucks, but spent a lot of time in or around one. And there you go. Super badass cover truck. Again, the third and final that had the American, what did I say, weld wheels, American weld, I forget now. Too much going on. Okay, so Jendro was going to be the episode 300 guest. I guess there's a slight chance it could still happen. This is his famous Isuzu. Speaking of Isuzus, and it was on the cover of Truckin. We've posted it many times. It was just at Slamboree. It is still around. Jendro is very busy, and that's, like I said, with podcasting, that's one of the tough things. Some guests are easier, but Jendro has a whole nother kind of life after mini trucks, and it involves softball, and we'll talk more about that. But it's one of those things where I've come to the conclusion that I don't get down about a missed opportunity for a guest. The show must go on, and we'll get Jendro's audio done. We will. Booger Batch 96. This show has been up for the Mini Truck Hall of Fame in the past, as I recall. And anybody that went to this show will tell you they had a blast. When you see that famous NC Yoda with the Phantom Grill. I want to say to the folks in Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, I've been following Lowest Common Denominator, which is also known as LCD, and LMC from the podcast. They have been going through a lot. They have been heavily impacted by the flooding. I know now they're going through some heat waves. And just please, if nothing else, keep them in your thoughts. Those guys, people have lost vehicles, they've lost lives, they've lost all kinds of stuff. And of course, me, the vehicles and that kind of stuff is not the important thing. The loss of lives, people are, their homes are underwater, all of that stuff is most important. So I just really, ask that you guys keep them in your thoughts. A kid I went to high school with, I actually went to elementary school, middle school, and high school. Tracy Morgan was his name. Was it Tracy? Tracy Morgan? I think that was his name. Not the comedian. He had a truck just like this. His was not lowered. It had factory wheels. And it had what I call the ugly steps. It had the ugly rear bumper. You can see there. This isn't his truck, but this is basically the same thing. And he had one of the most amazing stereo system setups ever. A local guy, Sheldon, I went to school with, his brother, was instrumental, in my buddy Paul that has done all of my setups. He was instrumental, I think, early on in kind of showing Paul some things and just getting Paul maybe more interested in car audio. And he did all of Tracy's S10, and that thing was dynamited top to bottom, and it just was like a real high-performing system back in the day. You'd never know it seeing it cruising around. All right, here's the rare Toyota Crew Cab Dually. So that's pretty cool. Jason, shout out to Jason Ridin. He's put one of those on one of his shirts. He's got all the different brands like Low Yodas, Low Mazdas, those type of deals. And we've talked about it. There's the famous Moon Eyes Dually Mini. You really don't see them. I'd love to do a podcast in the future and talk about them, but to me, they're awesome. I love dually trucks. I always have, and I can trace back to why, because the first Truckin magazine I bought was all dualies. I freaking love them. Tom Lutz does the write-up. Sean Carlson does the feature. You got the famous negative camber, I think, Nissan. I think it was an NC ride. You got the Phantom Grill. You've got killer stereo. And I think this is like the hot spot of like when a lot of people just, they either got in mini trucking around here this time, or they remember these trucks. And I think that's why there's such a resurgence of people doing this old school stuff. I mean, dude, like I'd love to have that interior. Something like it with some neon deals. I mean, maybe the big TV, maybe not that, but definitely a VHS player. I follow so many 80s pages on Instagram and seeing them like with their old TVs and in their garage, and they've got all the VHS tapes and stuff. It's crazy because a lot of that stuff I either tried to just get rid of. You know, you got to a point where you're like, DVDs are out, and like now it's like nostalgia to, you know, pop in a VHS, you know, on a Friday night and either watch it or at least do a little reel like most of these guys do for Instagram. Here you got a Mazda on the downfall. Damn, hurts. That hurts to see. Kenny Chesney. Damn, he's been around a long time. This is 97. And again, this is getting around to the time that I graduated. June, you know, late May, June 97. I was thinking about it, that I can't believe it's been 25 years. Salsa Glass, Instagram, he hit me up, and, you know, he's always hitting me up with different proposals, and, hey, man, you know, I got this. Would you like this? I think he had some old MIC valves that I think he sold, and, you know, shout out to him, but he likes those Mitsubishis as much as I do. I don't know if he likes them as much as I do. That's an 88, which this exact truck is the truck I always talk about that got me in the scene. And I'd love to touch base with Chris Lopez. He was the guy. I think he's since moved to Tennessee. He got into Lincolns. He sold his Lincoln after many years. Here you can see the photo we saw earlier. Killer clean Isuzu. And there's that truck in color with the polished wheel. And you got to think, being this low in 97, pretty much laid out, body dropped, super low, channeled, dope. So I think that's it. Tim Parker, if anybody knows where he's at, man, we'd love to get him on the podcast at some point. We still have a lot of guests to get through. It gives me anxiety thinking about it, but we love what we do. I love what I do. Mini Truckin Magazine, issue 63, March 9/7. Street Botique, Isuzu. And it's a wrap. Appreciate all the support. Like, comment, subscribe. We out ya. Peace.